Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? All right, so I think this is going to be video number 4. I think it's going to be the last one that I do in this pretty much this series that I started on how the RV journey began. I'm hoping it's the last one. I'm not sure yet. I'll see. So I'm gonna go off where I last left off at, which was with Don Jorge. Don Jorge, he had called me up, about the two incidents that he had, which was continuous. The first time that he shattered his right mirror when he was trying to bust a U-turn because of trying to avoid the street sweepers, and then the next day trying to bust a U-turn to return to the spot um, after the street sweeper had passed by, and still hitting the branches and shattering his entire left side windshield. It was completely gone. He still had his right side. It was kind of pretty much like split, half windshield, and then the other half just completely gone. And yeah, so that's where I last left off at. So he called me one day, and then he called me again the next day to explain those two instances. And then and I gave him the number to the window replacement, that it was no good because that person only replaces windows for cars, not RVs. So he was out of luck, and that was the last phone call that I had from him. A week passed by, and then so a week passed by. So that's where I'm gonna start at. So after the last call, 1 week passed by, and I can't remember exactly what I was doing, what my situation was exactly. Um, I want to say I was going to training, actually. Now that I remember, I was going to training for to get my CDL. I was trying to become a bus driver for the first time, and yeah, that's what I was doing. I was trying to get my CDL, going through training. So I had just got off from training, so I was starting to do errands, and I was trying to rush through to the PO box before they closed, because it was already getting late and they were about to close within 10 minutes. So I really had to rush it, and I wasn't trying to wait for the next day, because I think the next day was going to be the weekend, which is close on the weekends. So I didn't want to wait all the way until Monday, and I just wanted to check my stuff. And so I was trying to rush it, and like I said, where Don Jorge parked at, it was really convenient because um, it's like close walking distance to everything that I pretty much need to go to on a daily basis. Um, the Planet Fitness to go shower, the PO box to get my mail, and just a bunch of other stuff that I could go down the list. And he's so close. The PO box is within the same street where he parks at. It's literally like, I want to say like half a mile away, if not less than that. So it's definitely walking distance. At least for me, it is. It's very close. And then he's also very close to the traffic light, the traffic signal light. He's only feet away. I don't know exactly how many feet, but he's very close to the traffic light too, which is not ideal. But so yeah, so I remember I had to go to the PO box 10 minutes before they closed, so I was trying to rush it. And every time I go to the PO box, since he lives in the same street and his RV is parked right before the PO box, that means that I always pass by his RV, and I always know when he's home and when he's not home, because he just has one vehicle, which is a van. And so if his van was behind his RV or in front of his RV, that meant he was home. If it wasn't there, that means he's not home. That's simple. So I remember passing by, and then all of a sudden I get on the back of a long ass traffic line. I get to the intersection, the traffic light, and I'm all the way in the back because it's just a long line, and it's pretty much in the area where Don Jorge's RV is at. So I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? Like, everybody coming off at work and school at the same time? Like, it's way too packed, or there's an accident, or there's a traffic stop. Cops are checking for licenses and everything. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm gonna find out as I get closer, but right now I'm all the way in the back. And it's being all the way in the back, that's when I turn over, and I'm like, that's when I see Don Jorge's RV. and I did not see his car, so I'm like, all right, well, he's not home. And so yeah, finally get like pretty much close to the front of the all the traffic, almost at the very front. um that's when I could see over, the whole situation that's going on with the cops. I see cops, and I see two cars that had collided. There was a collision in the middle of the intersection, between the lights, and the the collision looked pretty serious. Not that serious, but still pretty serious. Um, and then there was just broken, you know, car parts everywhere, shattered glass, and all that stuff. And yeah, so but the thing that was crazy for me is that one car wasn't familiar, but the other one was familiar. And then that's when I'm like, wait, that looks like the van of Don Jorge. That's when I turned over to look at the RV, the front and the back, and I'm like, yeah, his van is still not there. Could this be his van? And I'm like, oh man, I really hope it isn't. But it looks exactly like his van. And like I said, he literally lives feet away, like right there. His RV is right there. And that's when I started panicking. And right away, I immediately talked to the cops, and I told them like, "Oh, excuse me, this vehicle happened to belong to so and so." And then that's when they said, "Yeah, actually it does," because I know his last name too. And they said, "Yeah, actually it does. Like, who are you? Are you his son?" And I'm like, "No, he's a family member. No, no, no. I'm just an acquaintance. I know him." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, your friend got into a serious accident and he's hospitalized at so right now." And then I'm like, all right, thanks for letting me know. And then that's when I tried calling the hospital, and supposedly the hospital from my hometown, which I think is very weird, but at the same time not that weird too, because when I got into my motorcycle accident, the hit and run, I don't know if I explained that story. I don't think I explained that story, but I experienced a hit and run, which was last year. They went to go hospitalize me at that hospital too, my hometown, which doesn't make sense because that hospital is 16 miles away. But and we have a hospital within the city. But now that I remember, they explaining that the hospital in my hometown is has ICU, pretty much like critical condition type of scenarios, where it's just like serious accidents, serious injuries, and anything that's serious that you need like urgent, immediate care for. Um, and the hospital that isn't within the city, they don't have that. It's just like a regular hospital. I thought every hospital was like emergency. I don't know. But yeah, so that's why they would send us over there. So he got sent over there too, my hometown. Like I said, it's 16 miles away. The one within the city is like, what, 2 miles away, depending on where you're at. So I started calling, and this like, yeah, we don't have anybody under that name. And I kept calling like every 10 minutes, and then eventually they got annoyed, understandably so, and they just kept telling me like, yeah, you should make sure with the cop or somebody, if they really give you the information, accurate information, because he probably got sent over to a different hospital because he's not showing up over here. And I did. I tried to retrieve the information again to see if I was giving correct information. And yeah, and I can't remember how I got the information again, but somehow somebody told me, I don't know if I got a call back or I can't remember honestly, but somehow somebody told me, yeah, he got transferred over to a different hospital, and then at a different city, a little bit even more farther away. So I started calling that hospital every 10 minutes, and same thing, nobody under that name, So I felt like I was just getting nowhere. And initially, before calling the hospitals too, I was trying to contact Don Jorge as well, and I only attempted a couple times, and then I started calling the hospital. But yeah, so I kept calling the hospital. I wasn't getting anywhere. Towards the end, that's when I'm like, you know what? Maybe his dialysis center has better information on his situation right now. I don't know. You know, it doesn't hurt to try. And I know where it's located at. It's very close to where I stay at, and I think the dialysis center is 24/7 too, open 24/7. So I went over there, and yeah, pretty much I started talking to the people in the front desk at the counter, and I told them like, yeah, you know, I know that there's a patient under this name, and they're like, yeah, there is, and then yeah, you know, I just came to, because I'm not sure if you guys been informed, so I just came to notify you guys that that patient right now he's hospitalized. He got himself into a serious accident, so he requires urgent, you know, medical attention, and that's what's going on right now. And so you guys have his records, you know, you guys know what he needs, and I just thought that it was good to notify you guys. You know, um, just in case just in case they try to treat him with medicines that he might be, you know, allergic to, so he won't get an allergic reaction, and also so they could, you know, provide him with whatever it is that his body requires to be safe during the time that he's at the hospital, because I don't know how long he's going to be in there, and I know that he was getting treatment with you guys every other day, so I don't know, you know, what type of services a dialysis patient requires, and they're not aware. I don't know, but I thought it was a good idea to notify you guys, so you guys could transfer information, you know, exchange information. And then they're like, oh yeah, you know, thanks for letting us know, you know. And then that's when I asked them too, like, do you guys happen to know what hospital he's at? And then he's like, no, because you guys don't know, because you guys don't even know about the accident, huh? They're like, yeah, we don't know anything. I'm like, all right then, that's cool. And that was it. I just left it at that. When I left the dialysis center, I was going home, and I decided to do one last thing. I decided to try to call Don Jorge directly to his phone line one last time, and he actually answered. He answered. When he answered, his voice was like very muffled. It sounded like when people are sick, and you know, it sounds like when your noise is all stuffy, and you could hear your voice. It's just like a distinctive like voice. That's how his voice sounded. And but yeah, he described to me what happened, and he was telling me, yeah, you know, car accident. So you know, I thought the light was green, but I couldn't really tell, and but it turned out it was red. So I ran the green light, and the other person had the right of way, and they were making the left turn, so they were curving, and then I was going straight. I didn't stop because I thought I had the green light, and that's when I went in directly into the vehicle. So yeah, so obviously his vision was impaired already, you know, and I think it has to do with his dialysis. If finally got to his vision, which was this very sad thing. It was very tragic, but there were signs, you know, just the two incidents continuous one day apart from each other, and then that happened, you know, that serious accident. So it was super unfortunate. And then he told me, he's like, yeah, so right now I have a busted nose, broke my nose, and I messed up my face too. I'm bleeding all over my face, and it's due to the airbag, you know, pretty much where when it bursted, it hit him really hard. And he said that the doctors told him that he was also suffering internal bleeding, which was pretty bad, you know. So at the end, when he told me all that, honestly, I felt devastated and really concerned and sad, you know, from his situation. Like, honestly, like, I didn't want to say it to his face. I didn't want to sound like harsh, and how do I say, like, I just didn't want to sound harsh, so I didn't want to be so blunt, you know. But in my head, I'm like, man, like, this is serious. Like, this is like this is pretty much like type of like situations where it's possibly the end for you, you know. This very, you know, it is what it is, because, you know, he's a dialysis patient. Every other day he goes there. he's an elderly man. He's like in his 70s. And then and you know, just his body condition, and everything. There was just a lot of things that were just like not so well. And for that, all that to be combined, and then the serious injuries, the internal bleeding, and I'm like, oh man, like no, it's like it's a lot, it's a lot. So that's when I was trying to pretty much tell him, but not be so blunt and obvious about it. I was trying to tell him like, is there anything you know, before I let you go, is there anything that you know perhaps you would like to share? You know, I'll have open ears. You know, no judgment. You know, I'm just here to listen. If you like to share anything, and or is there anything you would like me to do? You know, yeah, I'm here. You know, so that was me like pretty much saying like you know, I'm in a friendly way. I wasn't trying to be so blunt, but I'm like just in case, you know, this is your final moments. You know, I would like for you to say your piece, pretty much, and I have open ears, you know, and yeah, I didn't say it like that though. I said it like how I initially said it, and then that's when he's like, no, I don't have anything to say, but I do want you to do something for me, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm listening, and he's like, you know, go to my van, and you know the solar generators that I got, because you know talking with you and everything, I didn't even know they existed. But yeah, the solar generators that I bought, that I've been having for a while already, I was getting ready to go charge them like I usually do. He usually goes to Starbucks to go charge them up, and he's like, but yeah, you know, go ahead and get the solar generators and keep them, you know, keep them for the meantime. And then I'm like, all right, but, and I told him like, yeah, I have no problem doing that, but the thing is though, it's already been like 6 hours since the accident happened. Um, I remember it was already hours ahead. Like, yeah, it's been so many hours ahead. I don't think the your van's gonna be right there because it was in the middle of the intersection. Like for sure, it got impounded already. I mean, I could go try and check to see if it's there, but most likely it got impounded. And I don't think the impound's gonna, you know, authorize me to get whatever's in your car. But I could try and see what I can do. You know, I'm gonna go check it out to see if it's still there. And he's like, okay, but yeah, he's like, if you could, you know, just keep them. I'm like, all right, I'll save them for you. Or I went, it was gone. The car was long gone. And then so that was that. Throughout the next days, I kept trying to call Don Jorge, and I want to say that I only tried for 2 days. I tried a couple times, and I was getting no answer. So at that point, I felt like maybe he wanted his rest. You know, I'm like, you know what? Actually, let me leave him alone, because he's probably going through a lot of procedures right now that the doctors are, you know, doing to him to try to help him, you know, recuperate. And or maybe he's in serious pain, you know, the aftermath, because maybe the adrenaline rush, he wasn't feeling as much, maybe he's feeling it more. I don't know what's going on, but I just feel like maybe I should just let him rest. And you know, me calling, if I call too consistent, it's just gonna be like, you know, irritating for him. Like he just wants to be left alone, and you know, have the time to recover. So that's when I'm like, you know, I need to back off. Just give him his space. I'll call in a little bit later when he might be in a better recovery situation. So sure enough, that's what I did. You know, I want to say like a week later. I gave it a whole week. I was thinking about him, and I really wanted to call him, but I think like in a week and a half, that's when I finally couldn't hold it, and I gave him a call. And the phone calls this time, it was weird because I just remember, like when I was getting the phone calls, like I think at first it was going directly to his voicemail. I want to say like after the third attempt, it was so weird because I remember that it was ringing, but then the phone call would go to nowhere. There was no voice machine. Um, it just rang like it just rang and then it just cut off or something. I don't know. It was just weird. But the thing was that nobody answered, so that's when I started getting really concerned, and I'm like, I don't know. It's been a week and a half. Um, Maybe he's still too injured, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know what's going on. Let me just make sure. Uh, Let me at least get a confirmation from the doctors themselves, the nurses or whoever staff. As long as they tell me everything's cool, then I'm not gonna bother. I'm gonna continue to let him rest and everything. So that's when I called the hospital where he was at, and that's when they're like, "Who are you looking for? What patient? Under what name?" I gave them the whole name. They're like, "Yeah, that we don't have anybody under that file. We don't have anybody with that name right here." So that's when I got really concerned, and I'm like, "Well, maybe he got transferred over to a different hospital because they had to do surgery or something." And they're like, "Give us a second. We'll check the files, more files." Sure enough, they're like, "Nope, didn't get transferred over." And it's like, "Would you like to me to transfer you to a supervisor?" Things like that. I'm like, "Actually, yeah." So I started talking to other people, and everybody's telling me the same thing. We don't have anybody under that name. So that's when I'm like, "Well, tell me this then. Did you guys ever have anybody under that name? Because I know that he was there. Like a couple weeks back almost. So could you check files for during that time period?" And they're like, "We're not able to uh, disclose that." And then I'm like, "Well, could you let me know if he didn't transfer over, if he passed away? Are you guys able to tell me that?" And he's like, "We're not able to disclose that either. We're not able to disclose any information because you're not a relative." And yeah. So at this point, I'm like, all right. So there's nothing I could know. So I was clueless about his situation, what was going on with him, and I couldn't get a hold of him because his phone line was going to nowhere. So that's when I did what I did before, go to the dialysis center again, paid them one more visit. Actually, I didn't visit them. I gave them one last call. The first time I did visit in person. The second time I just gave them a call. So yeah, so I called the dialysis center, and then that's when I told him, um, yeah, there's the guy that showed up like I want to say like a couple weeks back. I was notifying you guys of so and so Don Jorge, his situation, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we remember you." So they recognized me. They're like, "Yeah." You say, "Yeah, we remember you." Um, and then they're like, "Yeah, we didn't, we're surprised because we never knew that he had any friends. Like he was always like very lonely. And I'm like, "Yeah, he was pretty reserved. He pretty much kept to himself. But yeah, I knew him though." And he's like, "All right, yeah." He said, "Well, yeah, so I'm just calling to know about his condition. If you guys know anything, because I've been trying to get a hold of him, his personal phone number. It's not going anywhere, you know." And then I try to get a hold of the staff in the hospital, and they're telling me that they don't have anybody under that name, and also they can't disclose any more information other than that. So I thought maybe you guys, maybe you guys would know something. And they're like, "Yeah, actually we do." He's like, "Yeah, unfortunately, he passed away. So, we're sorry." So that's what happened. He did pass away. So, you know, that's how that ended. And so rest in peace to Don Jorge. Rest in peace to Don Jorge. Uh, like I said, he was a really cool person. In the way how he was the only one with the willingness to kind of have like an open ear to my ideas, and also have curiosity to know what I was up to. Like, he always was curious to know what I was up to, because he tried to to pretty much just mimic what I do, because he saw that I was succeeding, and he lived the same lifestyle as me, RV off grid. So he wanted to implement that in his own life too, so he could live the same. He was surprised when he saw this solar powered fridge and freezer with the ice maker right there, the ice making machine. You just pour water and everything, and then the solar generator and everything, pretty much everything. So he wanted me to show him the way, and that's what he was trying to do. So that was cool. That was cool on Jorge, and we would exchange just information, just trying to help each other out, with the upgrades and everything. But yeah, so rest in peace to him. He was a quiet, reserved man, but he was still cool. And yeah, so that was the story with Don Jorge, and yeah, that's how the RV journey has been. And now I'm still at the same spot. One of the last things though that I remember with Don Jorge is when I was going to training for the CDL, I remember going to him and letting him know that I was about to get into that training. And I'm like, yeah, I applied, and they told me that they're willing to wait for me until I'm done with my college course that I'm currently taking for this semester. When it ends, my orientation or my training date begins the very next day after my college course ends. So I'm excited for that. And then I remember telling him, like, I'm already going through training. And then so he was telling me that, oh, that's awesome, because they're well paid, and like you said, they're union, and I know about union is very good to have, people to represent you and everything. And then it's like, and you already got a little bit of experience with the driving the RV. RVs are kind of the same size as the buses, so he it was cool. I felt like he was kind of like looking up to me for that, or kind of like respecting it or something, and it just felt cool. And but like I said, I fell the first time, and he knew about it. He knew that I fell the first time, but he never knew about me attempting a second time right after I failed, attempting at a different county, and getting my CDL. He didn't know because he had already passed away by the time this happened recently. I just got my CDL like a few weeks ago or so, and he passed away about 2 months ago. So I wish he would have seen that. That would have been cool, to pay him a visit, to let him know that I did it. But things happen. Yeah, it is what it is though. And yeah, while I was going to get my CDL, since it's at a different county and it's pretty kind of distant from me, that's why I decided, like, hey, the RV is mobile. It's a mobile home for something, so why don't I make it easier for myself and just find a spot over there, go move over there, and just temporarily while I try to get my CDL. Once I get certified, then I can return right here and start working. And yeah, and that's what I did. I knew of a spot over there in that county, and I finally tried it, and it was going good. But it only lasted 4 weeks, because, like always, people started discovering me, other people, other RVs, and also people living in the cars a lot started discovering me. And that's the thing that sucks, man. It's just, if there's gonna be a trail of RVs and people camping in their cars and everything, if there's gonna be a trail of campers, the very least you could do is just keep it clean, so you don't mess it up for everybody else. That's the very least you could do. Don't get selfish just, be self-centered. Just think about yourself, that, oh, I'm gonna put my seat outside right here, or I'm gonna set up stuff right here outside, tent, and a bunch of stuff like grills, things that like got no business to be on the sidewalk or in the surrounding area, other than just your vehicle. And then for it to be stinky too, and just filthy, like man. But that's pretty much what happened. I got discovered, and people were just not keeping it clean, and they were, started with their activities and causing all sorts of pretty much nuisance and everything. So got reported. Everybody had to leave, including myself, and that lasted 4 weeks. And there were still 2 weeks of training left, and the last 2 weeks was pretty hard, but I did it, and I got my CDL, and I'm back in my spot again, still with competition. But that's how it's been, and that's one of the reasons why I don't disclose my information, because I'm already dealing with competition as it is. I don't want to announce it to the world and get all this crazy competition, and then here comes the popo with the signs, Then where am I gonna go? Well, I got all this bus too, but this is my favorite one. But yeah, that's it for the journey. I'm still, with the same intention of trying to save up for land. And that's it. That's how it's been. It's been quite a journey. But one thing I learned is that it's cool having like how do I say it? Like I heard from someone else, it's cool having the camaraderie of being able to live with other people that are undergoing the same situation as you. So like being in a trail of RVs, of campers, and being able to relate to each other and just have that camaraderie, because you guys could connect, undergoing the same situations, right? That's cool. And you get to socialize, interact, and makes passing time a little bit better too, with or entertaining, because you get to interact and socialize, But with that comes a lot of trouble, I learned the hard way. The first time, it was 2 of us. It turned into 3. Then it messed up. Then it was 10 of us. It turned into 12. Then it messed up. Then it was 4 of us. It turned into 6. Then it turned into 7 the last day. Then I messed up. The last time, it has just been me. This is the last time, and it's just been me. And I haven't had a single knock. Not one single knock. I haven't had no warning signs, no citations, 0 warning signs, 0 citations, 0 knocks, no harassment at all whatsoever. There has been some very rare situations when I have gotten a knock, but it wasn't from the popo. It was from homeless people, and that's why I put the security cameras, because unfortunately it attracts homeless people every now and then trying to steal stuff or trying to break in. Other than that, that's it. And that's even, it's not often either. It's seldom. But so learn the hard way. Just being on my own, it's peaceful and it's quiet, and it's a lot better. This is the best. It does get boring at times though, because no one to socialize with. But overall, no headache. But it, sometimes that's just what you got to do. Just try to keep a low profile, be low key, do your own thing, and keep it clean at all times. Keep it clean, keep yourself presentable. Having your camper washed and just looking clean, and just be clean. That's it. And follow the laws. And yeah, that's how the journey has been. The journey is still continuing because I'm still in a public street. You know, I don't have my own property, my private land yet, so still undergoing to the situation. The troubles that I do go through is just having haters, but that's another video. That's a separate video that I might do later on. But other than that, that's it. That's what the RV journey has been like. I'm just gonna end it with this. You know, since I already mentioned it, and it is still part of the RV journey. You know, the haters. When I said haters, it's just like that people that don't like me being in a situation for whatever reason. Envy or jealousy, or I don't know what it is. You know, for me, that's what it seems like to me. They try to frame me, and they try to put. Just yesterday, they put a big Marlboro can, still all like 75% filled up, of alcohol underneath my tire, my RV tire, and a bunch of times they just leave stacks of glasses of beer bottles, of alcohol, just drinks. They just leave them all around my RV all the time, or a lot of the times they just just drop off plates and all around my RV too, to make it seem like I'm the ones that just throwing out the plates full of food, just making a mess. And so every now and then I get that. So that's been part of the part of the RV journey too. But that's another video. I always clean up anyways. Get some pair of gloves, pick it up, clean it up. You know, at the end of the day, I'm paying zero rent. And I'm not going anywhere. So y'all could do whatever you want. It's not gonna affect me. That's the way I see it. Nobody has the courage to do things in my face. That's another thing that I noticed. Not one single person has the courage to tell me what it is that they feel about my living lifestyle, and to do any of the actions that they do in my presence. It's always like when I'm not here, or with my back turned. Nobody does it in my presence. So, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I just clean it up. I don't make a big deal about it. Just clean it up and go on about my day. And but yeah, that's what the RV journey has been. And other than that, that's it. What else could I say? I think I pretty much said it all. It's still continuing, and that's it. I'll check you guys out on the next video. Peace out.